All right, Shalom. This is your brother Samak coming with another lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai, where all praises, honor, and glory are due, and double honors to the elders and apostles, and blessings to the brothers doing this work in truth and in sincerity. All right, coming with another in transit impromptu. All right, something I wanted to talk about. I was watching a video by a psychologist, or one who studies psychology. I don't know if he is just a self-taught psychologist or if he's an actual trained medical professional. I haven't looked into his credentials, but I've recently come across his content, and he says a lot of profound things. And his name is Andrew Huberman, and I'm very big on the self-development and growth space, as I believe all men and women in this truth should be, right? Because life without growth is meaningless, right? We're not perfect beings yet until we get the kingdom, but we're striving for that. So therefore, the kingdom of heaven starts now, and we have to put on as the elect, as the scriptures say. And part of putting on as the elect is what? Trying to be your best self, right? Because in the kingdom, we'll be our best self. We'll be perfect. Now, furthermore, Andrew Huberman, right? If you want to look up some of his content on YouTube or such, he says a lot of profound things, man. And he goes into a lot of different things. This video in particular is something that I came across, and what I've been trying to implement into my life was breaking bad habits and creating new good habits, right? I've been trying to create a superhuman routine, right? Certain things that I do on a daily basis that will yield success in my life. And that success meaning, if there's something I want to get done, it gets done, right? Or things that are going to yield positive results in my life. So, we all know what a habit is, right? There's many different type of habits, right? And habits, there's either good habits or there's bad habits. And a habit is pretty much something that you do subconsciously, without thought, or without much effort at all. It's something you do and you usually don't even think about it, but you realize you're doing it. And you all know what the bad habit and the good habit is. Now, and there's 3 steps to essentially building a good habit. We're going to focus on that. The first step to building a good habit is visualization, right? So basically, visualization or interpretation of the very action that you want to do. So hypothetically, let's apply this to the truth. Let's say you want to read, you want to spend 30 minutes reading per day, or read 3 to 5 chapters, whichever comes first, right? And this is something that you want to do for yourself, but you want to do it at a specific time every single day if possible. Or a matter of fact, even better, let's say you want to, we're going to use something a little bit more general that can apply to anybody. Let's say you want to start waking up early, right? You want to start waking up at 6 a.m., 5 a.m., whatever the case is. You have to first visualize the very steps that it takes to doing the action that you want to do. So, for example, if you want to wake up at 6 a.m. and you want to read the scriptures and then get a morning exercise, a morning, 30 minutes of exercise, whatever, whether it's cardio, body weight training, whatever. You have to first visualize, all right, what are the steps to waking up at 6 a.m.? And then immediately going into some spiritual like reading. All right, first I have to set my alarm. I have to make sure my alarm is set for 6 a.m. Then that's the first step. The next step is going to sleep. The step after that is what? Your alarm clock going off and you actually stopping the alarm clock and getting up out of bed, or at least sitting up at the edge of your bed. That's the most important step. So you have to visualize that and put yourself in a repetitive nature of you actually doing it. Because if you just say you want to wake up, but you don't actually visualize yourself doing it, when the time actually comes, you're going to be quick to hit that snooze button, right? Now, obviously, you can do things about like making it harder for yourself, like putting your alarm clock or your phone on the other side of the room. So when your alarm goes off, you have no choice but to get up and go turn it off. And at that point, you're likely not to go back to bed because you already know you told yourself you wanted to wake up and get something done. So that's the first step to building a good habit, right? Visualization of the actual steps that are necessary to doing what you need to do. Right? Visualize yourself going to bed, setting your alarm going off, you getting up, sitting on the edge of your bed, immediately get some light. If you can get some sunlight, perfect. If you can't, go ahead and go in the bathroom or something, turn the light on, allow yourself to wake up, and then just go ahead and do what you got to do. You're already up, so you already accomplished step one. Now you might as well do something else. Okay, I said I was going to read for 15 minutes and then get some exercise in. Or maybe if I'm going to walk on the treadmill, I'm going to do some cardio, I can listen to an audio of the scriptures, or I can watch a lesson, whatever it is. So you can actually kill two birds with one stone. Right? Now, the next step to forming a good habit is it's what he calls task bracketing, right? And what task bracketing is essentially realizing if this task is actually something important and needs to be done, right? And it's going to determine basically meaning is no matter what condition or what happens, this task is going to get done no matter how you feel or what has come in your way. For example, one task that we do, or at least we should be doing, people should be doing, is no matter how much sleep you got last night, how bad of a sleep you got, no matter the conditions of the sleep, no matter what time it is that you had to wake up or what you have to do that day, you're going to brush your teeth, right? Because you know that if you don't brush your teeth, you're going to have stinky breath, man. And you can't go out and be in front of people and have stinky breath. And having stinky breath doesn't feel good. All right, having your teeth that are not clean does not feel good. So no matter what variables happen in your life or that night before, when you wake up, you're going to brush your teeth, right? And the very habit that you want to do, you have to bracket it in that same category, that no matter what the variables and the circumstances, this task is going to get done. I don't care if I only got 3 hours of sleep. I'm waking up at 6 a.m. and I'm getting my morning workout and daily scriptures in, because I know that this needs to get done, and this is the time I want it to get done. Because what? Consistency is ultimately the very thing that is going to give you the results that you're looking for. By you doing the very thing the same time every single day. Obviously, if it's a Shabbat, it's a little different. So 6 days a week, all right, 12 months out the year, you're doing this very thing. You've built it into a habit. So you bracket that. Now, what task bracketing goes into a specific neuron, right, that's in our brain, that is called the basal ganglia. And the basal ganglia is responsible for actual action. I forgot the exact term, but it's responsible for action involvement and action suppression, right? So action and engagement and action suppression. So the basal ganglia is responsible for actually you doing a specific action, right? Those neurons in your brain that tell you, yo, get this done, right? That's the action engagement. And also action suppression, which is, yo, don't do that, right? So it's kind of like your consciousness, if you will, right? It's a scientific way of saying this is your conscious, or your backbone, if you will. So what task bracketing does is it taps into those neurons that are associated with the basal ganglia, and by you just thinking of the very action as no matter what happens, it has to get done because it's going to affect my life in one way or another, that's what's going to essentially activate that basal ganglia that is going to be an action engagement. And if there's a habit you're trying to stop, the adverse to that, which is action suppression, you're trying to stop drinking, whatever the case is. Now the third habit, or the third action or task to developing a good habit, and the very last is basically positive reinforcement. And it's basically comes down to it's kind of similar to the visualization, but now it has more so a positive and a negative outlook. So you have to think about the onset and the offset. So what is the onset? The onset is the very beginning of an action, and the offset is the very end of an action. So generally, when it comes to doing things that you don't want to do, or hard things, or things that require effort, usually the onset is not pleasurable, right? But the offset is typically always pleasurable. So for example, let's say the action that your habit you're trying to do is you want to do 30 minutes of cardio daily. So regardless of if you do it in the morning, in the afternoon, or the evening, your goal is to do 30 minutes of cardio, right? It could be before going to bed, whatever the time you set for yourself. And let's just say it's that 30 minutes of cardio. Now, by you thinking of the onset, all right, how is it going to feel in the onset? All right, it's going to feel like shit, right? I'm going to be fucking tired. Heart rate's going to start increasing. I'm going to be like, damn, why the fuck am I out here running? What am I doing? But then you think of the offset. Now, what's the offset of that run? You feel great. You feel euphoric. You have now been hit with dopamine receptors that now you start to feel good because one, you accomplished a hard task, and you accomplished something that you said you were going to do. That automatically yields positive hormones and thoughts in your brain. That's one. Number two, you typically always feel very good after a workout. You feel, usually you feel better than you did before. Even though you're tired or whatever, it doesn't matter. Let's look at any type of sport, right? A championship game, a fighting championship match, whatever the case is. You got two opponents that are busting their asses, giving 100% maximum effort in order to win this match. And they're burning through all of their energy, they're burning through all of their stamina, everything. They get to the point where they're completely drained. But then the team that wins at the very end, how do they feel? They're jumping around, they're cheering, they're running up and down the court, they're hugging their loved ones, whatever. They forget all about the fatigue and the tiring that happened during the match, because then they're thinking about the offset as they have accomplished the very task and they've won. All right, and when you're in a battle with yourself, as long as you complete that task, you win. So it's that positive reinforcement, thinking about the onset and the offset, is what's going to ultimately yield you actually getting done what you need to get done, man. So, hey, Lil Willin's video is edifying. Again, Andrew Huberman is the psychologist or whatever. I highly recommend you guys go ahead and check out his content. And whatever works for you, take what you can. Whatever doesn't apply, let it fly. Shalom.